This is my favorite band. What are they doing to here?
Yes, it's like, you
I
can't
don't trust
this. Hey everybody, welcome to AWOLNATION's Totally Committed, episode 2.
What's your favorite song of all time? You have to pick one.
Go.
You have to explain why.
I really like Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah! Why is that your favorite song?
It made me want to learn the guitar, but I never did.
Oh, that was one of my first songs.
Okay, so Sweet Child of Mine, classic, obviously, great answer, glad someone picked it. Comical riff as well. Anyone can play
Perfect.
it. Yeah,
Perfect riff.
How hard is that to play?
Anyone can play.
no. It's like, you can go down, and then
It's kind of a finger twister because
yeah.
he also changes the formation of it with the chords.
Yeah.
I was playing it the other day in the elevator for some old ladies, and it wasn't easy, I can tell you that.
Well, it's
Even my
a
wife-
heavy metal ballad, kind of technically, because the
Yeah,
riff
but
is
it's a
very metal.
good
and
one.
then- yeah.
And it's not like it feels pure. His lyrics are so much more sophisticated than most like ballads of that era. It's kind of broken and sad. And honestly, even my wife, she's like, that bass playing is incredible. He's driving the song like almost a fuck you to the song because
Yes.
the song's kind of chilling along and he's like pounding on it like it's like freaking Earth, Wind and Fire or something. It's
When the
amazing.
crash cymbals come in, Duff just kind of does a bit of his own lead underneath. He's like, hey Slash, I'm not going to give you, I'm going to steal your thunder a little bit. You can't be the main guy all the time with that great hat and beautiful body. So Duff comes in hard on that. And that's a good point. I never thought of the bass.
And the guitar solos are, well, the early guitar solos are amazing and nice and melodic, but then the big guitar solo, the chords are the strangest chords in any rock song. Like, they're jazz chords, some of them are, like, it's a strange ass song. Once again, evidence that the audience is not dumbasses. Because it's a sophisticated,
It's a
long
good
ass
theme-
song.
Good theme to thread, through the series.
Yeah, think about that. From that solo out, it becomes like a heavy song.
Yeah.
So I was just going through it in my head as you were saying that, and like, dun, 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 yeah. What a weird song. And
Almost like 6 minutes, I think.
and we're so lucky. Wasn't that the first or simultaneous single off that record?
It kind of...
Do we know?
I
There's
don't-
Sweet Child of Mine and Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, as a kid seeing it coming, it almost all culminated at the same time. I think Welcome to the Jungle was out first, but then it was kind of like, people were like, who is this kind of intense punk rock band? And then like Paradise City was a single, but then like it during the summer, by the time Sweet Child of Mine came out, it was like everyone that I knew was like, okay, this is my favorite band, and this album has every song is basically a single, and there's so many sides to this band, and like they're vulnerable, but they're like heavier and more real than all the other Poison trash that is out.
And didn't it?
I still like Poison, but they were cheap. They were just cheap compared to
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses. And Guns N' Roses, like there was like art and poetry to it. It wasn't just like party crap, trash shit.
All right, Brian. What's your favorite song and why?
My favorite song is Juicy by Biggie.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine.
It's really the story of rags to riches, just incredible beat, incredible lyrics, one of the greatest of all time.
Rad.
That's awesome.
Great answer. Good to have a Biggie.
You can't grow up in the 90s nut, but that's a number one, dude.
Thought that hip hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight 'cause I rhyme tight.
Okay, so this is Wu, Dr. Wu, who did this tattoo and did the new one I got. Grew up with him, and I think, if I remember correctly, you're gonna like his answer.
Wu, what is your favorite song of all time and why?
At this moment, you asked me this question, the first song that pops to my mind is Say It Ain't So by Weezer.
Yes.
Because I was a young teenager and had so much, for some reason, there's just so much emotion in certain lyrics of that song. And I thought their music video for that was so sick at the time.
Oh yeah.
What can you say about Say It Ain't So?
It's awesome.
I would be completely comfortable if that was my choice.
Yeah.
The Blue Album, as I've stated before, has aged so well that it's entered into my top 3, top 5, top 3. Let's say top 5 just to give me a little leeway here. Top 5 albums of all time, front to back. And Say It Ain't So is one of the songs I played for the boys when I was trying to get them to fall asleep. Changed the lyrics a little bit. Didn't play it as good. It's a tricky song to play.
Yeah, I loved it because it was like, it's so ruthless when it kicks in the chorus, but as a kid I loved like the little like hammer-on jazzy way of playing that chord, and then the 7th chord all opened up. It was interesting, and it still rocked really hard. And it had the Beach Boy melodies. I grew up on Beach Boys, and then I was a kid in the 90s, so it was like a perfect culmination of it all.
I couldn't believe it when they came out with that Blue Album, because they were almost making fun of heavy guitar tones, but they were heavier than the other bands, and I was like, what are these guys trying to pull? So I was almost like afraid of them at the start, but then that album became my favorite album.
I just heard an interview where they're like, everyone thought you guys were being sarcastic.
And they weren't.
And they're like, not at all. Like, we were dead.
They were just trying to play good. Like,
yeah.
They were in a heavy...
It just seemed like I'd never even heard the term taking a piss being from Tri-Cities, Washington, but I could tell they were like taking a piss in my mind out of rock and roll in this way. I was like, what is going on? Because the chorus is like the heaviest thing ever, but also it's like, it's almost like the drum sound is not like a metal, or any drum sound either. It's kind of mid-range and crappy.
Kind of basic, but that lent room for the wall of guitars to be so powerful. Right. I remember calling
and
this
he
guy.
wasn't hitting the crashes all the time.
The first time I heard a non-single, I called this guy named Jeremy Golden. I remember him picking up and saying, hello, our voices are dropping, we're 15. And I heard, my name is Jonas in the background. I'm like, what are you listening to? He's like, it's the new Weezer. And I didn't know that we had permission to listen to Weezer yet. I liked what I had heard. I'd heard the Sweater song, but I just didn't understand.
Me too. I was like, what are they doing to me here?
Yes, it was like, you can't get away with this. And then it ended up being the most brilliant, simple combination. And as the story goes from Rivers, I think that they were, I forgot the name of their band before that, but they were in a really proggy, cool band, and some A&R guy saw them and said, dude, no one is going to like this. Can you just write some melody? And they took that to heart, and then teamed up with Rick Ocasek, another friend of the podcast, rest in peace, we love the Cars. Rick, took them to another level. And then it wasn't really until Pinkerton that I was able to admit that I loved Weezer. It felt like
not me. I proclaimed it. I proclaimed
it
secretly to my Mormon girlfriend as we were yard sailing on a dreary weekend. I said, "This is my favorite band."
All the older
is the best.
All the older kids in my neighborhood, like the older brothers and sisters, I always saw that album. I'm like, what is this? Like you just saw the blue fucking album, and everyone was always playing it, and it just made it seem like it was cooler that all the older kids.
The photo too on the cover, you're looking at it
so
going
cool.
like,
but
and
you could just do that.
But what good branding though, because like he says about the video, somehow they looked so normal, but I wanted to be in that rehearsal space that's in the photo, and in the Say It Ain't So video. I'm just like.
Some people already know this about us, but we're such huge Weezer fans. We've gotten to play and share the stage with them a bunch. I actually sang Say It Ain't So with Rivers. I'm like, hey man, should we do that? I'm like, should we do something together? He goes, yeah. What do you want to do? I'm like, I'd love to sing the harmony on the last chorus, the famous harmony that everybody knows. That kind of, even more than the Beatles, that harmony that really taught me those harmonies are so important. I was 15. And so we go on stage. I think it was in Reno, of all places. This big, enormous stage.
That was L.A.
No, I sang something else with them. So I've done it a few times. But anyways, he said, when do you want to come out? I'm like, I think I'll come out, during the bridge. And he's like, okay, so you'll come out in the bridge and I'll introduce you. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm having a few drinks at this point because we've already played our set. And it was a mistake to come out during the bridge. But I walk out, he introduces me. No, everybody's like, wait, what's going on? And then I went to sing the higher harmony, and he did it too. So we canceled each other. So my big moment, you know, I blew it because of communication. And then another time in Scranton, Pennsylvania, we played with Weezer, and I somehow produced / manipulated them into allowing Isaac to play drums on the Sweater song, and he fucking blew the house.
Yeah, because
we have footage of that. We should get to you to put.
I got it actually. It's in my email. I sent it to my dad.
Let me just brag for you. Rivers didn't really know that was a plan. They started and something felt different.
I didn't. I kind of was like waiting a little longer. I'm like, oh, I think Rivers is tuning. Because Pat Wilson told me, he's like, the click is going to be on. You just sit up there, and whenever it seems like they're done tuning, start it off. And I was like, I think he's still tuning. And finally, Rivers just kind of like turns around and looks at me like, what? And then he's like, what the? And then it's like, and I just started it. And he had to play this.
Got floor.
Yeah, which I actually did a little bit different. But
we love Pat as a drummer.
Yeah.
Much,
no.
But like hearing Isaac's power.
So yeah, it was
the
awesome.
power of Thor. Playing the song, because that's how I thought I sounded in my bedroom playing with the headphones, like so hard, and he played it. And
Rivers smiled when he saw you. He was
I
like,
mean, yeah.
No, maybe he smiled later.
No.
At the start, he was like, what's going on? And then I started the song, so he couldn't care. He had to just play the song. You know, he was forced to play.
And
but then at the end,
how good of a song it is.
well, like Aaron produced the whole thing, because we were talking, and Pat was like, hey man, you should play a song, kind of like,
give me a break.
Give me a break or something like that. And my instinct would be like, haha, okay, see you, man. You know, but Aaron was like, he's doing it. Let me talk to you. You were like, let me talk to the tour manager. He
I made sure their TM knew, their drum tech knew, like, this is really happening, man. My guy's gonna sit up and don't freak out or whatever. And then I watched from the side, and then I ran into the pit and watched from there a little bit, and then I ran before the last chorus, and then Andrew McMahon was there, and he was screaming in my face. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
He understood the moment too,
and
so yeah, Sadie, so great choice.
I got footage.
Come your way.
Like and subscribe down below.
Yeah.
There was a point in time
We should do a full Weezer episode.
Yeah, there was a point.
favorite band.
There was a point in time where it was like a secretive thing. I remember meeting other bands, and I'm like, wait a second. It feels like no one liked this band, and their second album failed. But every musician I know worships them and is dying for them to come back.
And loves them. And then I didn't know this, but did you know that Buddy Holly was going to be on Pinkerton originally?
No.
Oh wow!
Just saw this. Island in the Sun could be one of the best songs of all time. Each record has something I love. Even some of the later records or more recent modern records, I'll always find something I like a lot. This record, OK Human, that came out during the lockdowns, really touched my heart a lot, and highly recommend that record too.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite bands ever.
And I'm always jealous of them. So we've sometimes played this other game, like, what band, if you could be in any band of all time, which one would it be in? And I probably would be Rivers Cuomo, man.
Make sure I look good.
Here with Jonathan. What's your favorite song of all time and why?
Oh my goodness, that's
I know.
a
Dude,
hard,
it's hard.
question.
It could be anything you want.
My favorite song and why of all time.
All time. Something comes to your heart. I know it.
I Am Ready for Love by India Arie.
I am ready for love.
I feel like I find that I go back to that song at any time in my life, like over the past 20 years it's been out. And I think it reminds me of that love is beautiful and that I'm deserving of it. And she just sounds so angelic.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
Whoa.
Do you know that song?
No, but I remember Indy, but I don't remember that song. But
okay,
that's
so
a great answer.
Yeah, I didn't know I actually listened to it after that night. My wife and I listened to it, and it's a great song. But I think the takeaway is he found something that made him feel like he deserved love.
Yeah, that's nice.
Music can do that. That's amazing. So clearly he was struggling with feeling a certain way or insecure or whatever, and then this song like enabled him to be open to fall in love. That's as good as it gets. That's as good of a reason as any answer. Thank you, Jonathan. This one's gonna hit you.
It has to be Cranberries.
Why? You explain 1979. Okay.
You know I'm such a fool for you. You got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to?
Cranberries because I feel like you can belt as loud as you want.
Okay.
Like, I feel like you can really connect to songs that way. Like, for me, I feel like I need the emotion there to be able to connect. It's one thing for music and tunes to, like, move you, but then for you to actually be able to sing along.
Interesting. That's the first physical answer I've gotten. So
Yeah.
your answer kind of lies with the fact that you could actually sing it and perform.
Yeah, and the words are also, like,
Sure.
the lyrics are great, I think, too.
Do you have to
but-
let it linger?
Yeah, it's like, no, I want to move on. I want to,
Yes.
move from one part of my life into a transition of another and just...
And maybe that's the point of the podcast is that we're not going to let it linger. We're going to move on. We're going to make our pick. We're leaving a lot behind and we're moving forward.
Mark.
Favorite song and why?
Okay, the reason I said that you were gonna dig that answer is because it was between that and 1979.
Shake down 1979.
She chose wrong.
Yes,
I know,
that's-
maybe, but the reason she went with the Cranberries because she could sing that one, and she was like with Billy Corgan's voice. Like I don't know if I could sing along to that, so I guess you guys could touch on like, do you think? I think Linger's
I think it's a good
damn
song.
near a perfect
I
song.
love it.
I think
Tempo change.
she's a real artist.
Yeah.
I could be.
Yeah.
I can get
Well, the
behind
band.
I don't really know much about the band.
Do
The
you
bass.
do you think that 1979 smashes Linger automatically?
I do.
You know, I've already made my choice. I'm not here to divvy up other songs. I love 1979. It's really important to me. But the Cranberries are. I think they kind of like. People love them, but it's almost like not enough. I think. They're awesome.
Kind of
that
an underrated,
song's-
overlooked band. And,
Yeah.
and then Zombie comes on, you're like, what? In the video, and she looks so spooky wearing all this.
It's still huge. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Salvation?
I love
that. Was
Sabbath. I almost
crazy.
played it on our 90s car ride the other day, but we didn't have the Spotify power going. Hold on. But yeah, Linger, there is something pretty special about that kind of album in that era. It's almost like she's singing like there's like an emptiness to like the delivery of the song and the instruments.
And an effortless.
Yeah, like it's
nature
almost
to
like
it.
you could really project yourself onto it. It's like that first album is so. I guess they were just learning their instruments at that point, but they just wrote really simple songs and they really meant it. So it's kind of like I love that song. It never gets old.
I like that her answer was something about the singing on the recording made her feel like she had permission to like belt and sing along with full emotion too. So there's something inviting about it, I guess, to her. So that's really great.
We're here on your podcast and I'm taking it over accidentally. What's your favorite song and why?
I have to say my top off the top of the dome right now, thinking it's 7 Seconds record, New Wind. The song's called Man Enough to Care. The song is about a father and raising his son to be super macho and tough and not telling him he loves him. And the song really hit me when I was a kid growing up with no dad. The lyrics are like, Daddy always told you, do it like a man, never get too friendly, someone understand.
Daddy always told you, do it like a man, never get too friendly, someone understand.
It's about not showing emotion because you might be seen as gay. It's a really intense song off a New Wind record. And that song really hit me as a kid. And it still hits me as a father. And for Kevin Seconds to write that, he's not even a father, he became a father to me, like a father figure. And so that song on a hardcore record in 1987, to sing about a topic like that, it's connected with me my whole life. So yeah, Man Enough to Care by 7 Seconds off the New Wind record. It's about parenting. So if you're a parent, it really hits you in the soul and your heart. So yeah, off the top, that'd be the first one. Only one I say to you, yeah.
Thank you.
Great thing about parenting, Isaac and I are new parents. Mark is a dog dad or whatever, you know.
He thinks he's.
Yeah, he thinks. But
he's got the sticker on his car. Who
yeah, it's
rescued
like
who?
dog. Yeah, yeah.
I do not.
But that's cool because what Toby's saying there is that he grew up without a dad, and then connecting to that song, and Kevin Seconds, the writer, wasn't a dad himself, and so like to be able to connect to this sort of fatherly parenting emotion in a punk rock song in the early 80s is really impressive.
Yeah, that's cool. The only problem is that song might not work with you and I because we're too emotional. We need to listen to that song. We need to be like, don't show all your emotions. Don't be more emotional than your 3-year-old.
Well, I can relate to in this way.
Totally,
Like
totally.
I don't want to show. I don't want to cry in front of the boys because they don't need to see sadness. Because like I'll save the tears for when it matters. When something when they're crying and it's something we go through together. But they don't need to see. I don't need to make them sad. They
There is
they
a
don't
tricky
need that.
line.
And I'm just.
And
I don't know. We don't know. We're just figuring it out as we go.
I'm just joking about us that you and I are on
No,
the
I
other
know.
side.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for checking out AWOLNATION's Totally Committed, episode 2. Be sure to check out our playlist. Coming to a theater near you.
The playlist.
And I want to thank Mark and Isaac for joining me as well.
And Topo Chico, our
Topo
potential
Chico.
sponsor.
And to be clear, no one sponsored us. We're just doing this for fun. It's a way to kill time and connect with people.
But if someone would like to
someone
give
would-
financial backing, Jeff Bezos, my phone number is 818.